Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue en ce 20 janvier, 3 heures de l'après-midi à notre prochain Chat with Pat. On est de retour dans certaines provinces en pleine pandémie et en confinement. Donc, on s'est dit qu'on allait essayer d'avoir un petit programme aujourd'hui qui nous permettrait de vous exposer qu'est-ce qui peut être fait pendant les temps de la pandémie avec certains de nos entraîneurs à travers le Canada. Alors, je vais tout d'abord passer en anglais. Alors, welcome to the Chat with Pat. This is the first one in 2022, right after our beautiful Christmas. Yes, pandemia is back, and we need to train sometimes at home, and we need to do things differently. So I was thinking of inviting two coaches that are working with us and implemented in the Canadian Judo. So I'm going to welcome the one and only Beaton from Alberta. He's the regional, he's coaching Alberta and taking care of the Lebris Judo Club at the same time. And Jérémy Lebris, he's the provincial coach for BC. So let's get in Jérémy, and then let me get in Ewan. Did I do it right? Jérémy, welcome. Bonjour, Jérémy. And Ewan, welcome in the chat with Pat.
Hello. Bonne année.
Bonne année, bonne année.
Yeah.
Yes. So, guys, we had a previous discussion before. On a eu une petite discussion avant. Vous êtes venus avec nous dans déjà un premier chat with Pat. Alors, je vais pas vous représenter et nommer toutes vos grandes réalisations. You guys were already in the first chat with Pat in 2021, if my memory is good. So I won't present you guys. You're very known and famous in Canadian Judo, so in BC and in Alberta. But before we start, avant de commencer et de vous demander toutes les questions sur quoi faire au judo en temps de pandémie, juste rappeler aux gens que Judo Canada a développé des outils qui vous permettent de pouvoir suivre des vidéos ou des informations pour le développement du judo. So before we start our discussion about the topic subject of today, I just want to get in some information that what we provide for our members, and it's free actually on Dailymotion on our account. So we have the coaching tip videos that people can watch and practice at home. We have the videos from the one and only Sensei Hiroshi Nakamura. And we translated it in French and English to make sure everybody could understand properly what he was saying. Trust me. And the last video is the one from technical from Antoine Valois-Fortier without any partners because we wanted everybody to practice and to try to do judo. Alors, on a les vidéos avec M. Nakamura, les vidéos avec les entraîneurs, avec Antoine Valois-Fortier, and, of course, we have our partnership with Judo Fanatics. So, guys, you can go on this website and follow some judokas around the world or some Canadian judo because we have techniques from Jessica Klimkate. We have videos from Shadi Elnahas and soon coming from Antoine Valois-Fortier. We have some from you and Beaton. Jérémy, est-ce que tu es dans le Judo Fanatics déjà?
Non.
Oh!
Soon.
OK, on va écrire. On va écrire à Travis Stevens, puis on va lui recommander d'avoir le DVD de Jérémy Lebris. Je vais noter. Je m'en occupe. And other stuff for our coaches, pour nos coachs, le nouveau plan stratégique et le High Performance Plan, le plan à haute performance. Alors, les entraîneurs, si ça vous intéresse, vous pouvez aller voir sur le site web. Tout est disponible. And finally, just in the last newsletter, dans la dernière infolettre, on a fait le one-on-one avec Catherine Nolo pour ceux qui ont trop mangé pendant le temps des fêtes et pour les athlètes qui veulent gérer leur poids de façon correcte et avoir des trucs. Donc, Catherine Nolo qui a été avec Garmami dans le dernier one-on-one. So, in the latest one-on-one with Garmami, Catherine Nolo, who was presenting tips for nutrition and for some people like Jérémy who needs to lose weight because they ate too much turkey during Christmas. So maybe Jérémy, you can watch this and get back in shape. We know, on le sait déjà. OK, my friends. So, j'ai dit tout ce que j'avais à dire. I said everything I had to say. Now we will have a very nice discussion with you guys about what can be done during pandemia and in sport, and what's the situation for you guys been working with, what you guys have been trying, what works, what does not work, whatsoever. So, on va faire en français. Alors, Jérémy aura la plateforme version française et pourra dire tout ce qu'il veut dire par rapport à cela. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire en temps de pandémie et s'entraîner? And Ewan, it will be in English. So, I rolled the dice and the winner is, let's start with Ewan Beaton.
All
Mr.
right.
Beaton, let's start with you and then we'll pass the puck after that to Jérémy for a few minutes.
Sure. Really through the pandemic and everything, I think we also have to realize that there's different levels of judoka. Like I am high degree judo nerd. Okay, so like, you know what, my sensei tells me to do something, I do it. Mr. Suda, he's judo monster. And judo monster can't get enough, right? Then you have in between. Then you have average, and then you have the one that the parents are like, you're obligated, and they're pushing them, right? So you have the different level of motivation. These are really important things to consider, especially when you're looking at things. And so, when you make a program, or when we were making a program, you kind of can't go total judo nerd because that's going to leave the ones out there. So you have to kind of find that middle ground that's going to challenge the one that's really motivated, and then not pee too hard for the one that's, maybe less motivated, I would say. So that's my start of this discussion.
It's a good discussion, and it's true that you need to find the in between line because otherwise you will lose the extreme. So Jérémy, toi?
Oui, c'est vrai. Il y a plusieurs aspects un petit peu il faut essayer de garder les personnes qui ont besoin de motivation. Et il faut donner des défis pour ceux qui sont très motivés. Moi, je pense qu'il faut aussi proposer des choses, un éventail d'entraînement pour tout le monde, pour que chacun puisse trouver son compte. Et puis, en fait, on est passé à tous les stades, à toutes les étapes pendant la pandémie, où en fait, les athlètes devaient s'entraîner par eux-mêmes. Après, c'était un petit peu dehors. On pouvait faire des groupes. Et là, on revient on est à la maison. Donc, on a essayé des choses. Et puis, oui, voilà.
Ça a été un bon laboratoire, en tout cas.
Oui, voilà. On sait maintenant ce qui fonctionne et ce qui fonctionne le moins bien.
Okay. Ewan, I'm happy to be behind my screen. You're coughing a little bit. Is everything okay with you, my friend?
Yeah, no, on Tuesday after practice, I came home and I was like not feeling great. Middle of the night, I was a little bit congested, so I did a 4 a.m. COVID test, and I was positive. So right now I'm in isolation, which and as I said before I got on, is I actually finished an isolation training because I am that judo nerd, and I really I do feel guilty if I don't train. Yesterday I was a little too sick to train, but today I was like, okay, let's test it, and then if I'm good tomorrow, I'll even go harder. But that's that's where if I'm coughing or I sneeze or something, I apologize.
Oh my God! I thought I've been living with you for I don't know how many 2 years or 3 years. Man, impossible! You wouldn't stop, and it's still the same at 52. Oh my God!
Almost
almost
3, but it's also
getting there. All right, so you've been, you went through. You've been an athlete before. Did things have changed since you were an athlete? And is there some things that you've been doing as an athlete that you try to bring into during this pandemic?
Well, I think I came from a small judo province, and again, also, and this is not a slight to anybody that was doing judo in the 70s, 80s, and even early 90s, but the professionalism of judo wasn't at the highest level at that time. So, I had access to doing judo, in Manitoba 3 to 4 times a week, and then wrestling on the side. But I wasn't enough. So, for me, it was doing research and trying to find out how other people were doing training outside of the dojo to help their judo. So that happened to be, again, using judo elastics. And back then, judo elastics weren't really available, so I was using a tire tube. And then when I met Sensei Nakamura, basically my self judo or doing judo exercises by myself changed, because he would always give me, oh, here, do this, do that. And, I went and I practiced, okay, this is 5 things I can do for each Shimada. This is what I could do for Osoto. This is what I could do for Ouchi. So for me as an athlete, it was something that I was doing. And then, and obviously when I was in Montreal, when it was 5 times judo, I was still doing those exercises before weight training, or, after practice or before practice, because again, I found the value of doing them. It helped with flexibility. It helped with things that, I couldn't quite do when I was working with a partner.
So without a partner, without things could have been done at home, you just watching TV at the same time, if we had a TV, but and you could still do your exercise.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's for me, it's one of those things that what we're doing now isn't something that has been done forever. Again, you look at old judo videos of Doug Rogers in the 1960s, and they're doing all, exercises and trainings all by themselves outside of the judo mats. And again, being successful in producing either exercises that will help your judo, your technique, or endurance or strength, that's going to pay off into the mats eventually.
Et toi, Jérémy, à ton époque, dans ta tendre jeunesse, est-ce que c'était un peu le même principe et tu as fait les mêmes développements un peu de travail par toi-même?
Donc, très jeune, on avait le judo 1 fois par jour, tous les soirs. Mais on savait à un moment donné, quand on a commencé à avoir 12-13 ans, que faire que du judo, c'est pas assez. Donc, il faut développer d'autres choses à côté. Donc, il a fallu commencer à aller courir. Ok, il a fallu commencer à faire du renforcement musculaire. Il faut aussi se renseigner sur les nouvelles techniques, regarder des vidéos. Donc, à l'époque, il fallait acheter des cassettes VHS ou des DVD si on était un peu plus jeune pour regarder. Donc, les 101 Ippon, des Fighting Fins ou des choses comme ça que tu achetais à la compétition. Et on savait que faire que l'entraînement, c'était pas assez. Par exemple, je me rappelle le dimanche matin, il y avait un entraînement. Mon professeur de judo, il me disait, tu viens à pied. Et c'était à 17 km. Donc, il me faisait courir 17 km pour arriver à l'entraînement, pour faire un autre entraînement de judo. Donc, il y a quand même pas mal de choses qu'on peut faire à l'extérieur du judo pour servir le judo. Pendant la pandémie, on a développé toutes sortes de types d'entraînement. L'entraînement à la maison, les entraînements avec une webcam en vidéo. Mais moi, je pense qu'il est important, c'est d'avoir une espèce de structure. Je sais qu'on a une routine tous les jours ou dans la semaine. Okay. On a plusieurs types d'exercices qu'on peut faire. On peut faire du travail plutôt judo orienté avec des élastiques, faire des uchikomi dans le vide, faire beaucoup de tout ce qui est shadow uchikomi. On a plein de mouvements à faire. On peut utiliser toute la structure de développer un mouvement de judo avec, je prends Ippon Tsunage, je vais le faire avec un déplacement statique, en déplacement sur la droite, un déplacement sur la gauche. Après, je visualise avec un partenaire plutôt qui est gaucher, plutôt qui est droitier. On a plein de situations qu'on peut répéter sur les différents mouvements qu'on veut développer.
Sans avoir un partenaire avec soi.
Sans avoir partenaire. Ça, on peut le faire 1 fois par semaine, okay? Ou peut-être 2. Okay? Ça dépend si on a envie de faire plus de judo ou pas. Et on essaie de construire sa semaine avec les différents types d'entraînement. Qu'est-ce qui va servir le judo quand je vais revenir sur le tapis? Ça va être aussi de développer son cardio. Ok, je vais mettre en place peut-être 1 ou 2 fois par semaine, je vais faire un cardio, c'est que je vais développer mon endurance, et je vais faire un cardio, c'est que je vais développer mon explosivité, ma vitesse. Ok, la vitesse est plutôt en début de semaine parce que je suis reposé du week-end. Et puis l'endurance, ça peut être au milieu de semaine, en fin de semaine, pour un peu récupérer. Donc, c'est toutes ces routines-là, je pense qu'il faut mettre en place pour que le judoka ou la personne, ou ça peut être les parents aussi, on peut le mettre en place avec les parents. Avoir une routine, avoir un emploi du temps sur la semaine, c'est vraiment très important pour garder la motivation. Pour moi, plus on fait du judo, plus on a envie de faire du judo. Pour le sport, c'est pareil. Plus on fait du sport, plus on a envie de faire du sport. Moins on en fait, moins on a envie d'en faire. Donc, mettre en place, oui, au début, il faut se forcer un petit peu, mais une fois qu'on a commencé à faire ce sport, on ne veut plus s'arrêter. Il y a, Yoann, il parlait de différents types d'exercices. Moi, je trouve qu'il y a pas mal de choses qui peuvent servir le judo. Donc, on a dit on a le cardio, on a le renforcement musculaire. On peut faire des push-ups, on peut faire des tractions, des chin-ups. Ça, on achète une barre de chin-up à Amazon pour $50. On a une barre de chin-up. Quelques poids, on peut faire avec des bouteilles d'eau. Et ça, on essaie de se construire son programme soi-même au début. Ok, on essaye. C'est un défi. Donc, on a toute notre semaine qui commence à s'articuler autour du cardio, du renforcement musculaire, des shadow ichikomi, et la chose que je déteste, mais qui est super bien, je pense, pour le judo, c'est les étirements, le yoga. Un petit peu. Oui.
Just pour dire, Yoann, I'm just going to translate a little bit. He said everything so far I like, and he said there's one thing I don't like, but it needs to be done for judo: stretching. Yeah, stretching. So it will be your turn soon, Yoann. But I just wanted to make sure that you understood this one properly. So, and that our Anglophone people understood that Jeremy doesn't really like to stretch.
One of the more flexible guys around too.
So, okay, Jeremy, keep on going.
Yeah, actually, when usually I'm doing some like hard training, I'm never doing like any like stretching. I'm doing like only like running at the end. Okay, let's do some recovery. We run.
So please, all everybody who will be listening to this podcast or watching the chat with Pat later on, please do not say that to your kids. They need to stretch. It's important. C'est très important de s'étirer. Il ne faut pas écouter Jérémy. So, Jérémy, on continue. Keep on going.
Donc, voilà. On a notre semaine. On a nos 4 où c'est qu'on doit développer le cardio, le renforcement musculaire, le yoga, les shadow ichikomi, et puis aussi la vidéo. Donc, on a 5 choses qu'on peut articuler dans la semaine. Où on a nos entraînements pour la semaine.
Okay, so now I'm going to pause you because I'm going to pass the mic to Yoann. Keep it in your.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Je vais essayer de faire de tout ça. Moi, la chose la plus importante que j'ai compris de Jérémy, c'est d'avoir une routine. I think if I have to recap the discussion I had with Jeremy, I'm going to resume it into one word: a routine. Make sure you have a plan and a routine of any things that you like or you would like to do, because there's so many things can be done. But if you have a routine and you follow it, you will have result in the end. So for me, the first word I will resume in this first 20 minutes is une routine. Yoann? Tell us.
I totally agree. I think, through the pandemic, there's been like different stages. And, like again, my first stage, we weren't doing so many Zoom sessions, but we were giving programs and everything like this. And then the next stage, there was more Zooms. And now, we're not in that, but we know that people in Manitoba and Saskatchewan and other places, they're doing some Zoom trainings. What I would say to everybody is don't just have a Zoom training, actually set a goal. Okay, so for me, that was the one of the more important things. That the last time that we were stuck and we were doing group trainings and Zoom trainings, is that I kind of said, you know what, we're gonna go and we're gonna work on these specific areas of strength training and things that you can do at home, because everybody's equipment is different, right? So like, what equipment can people have, right? So again, you know what, and then start setting goals. This is what our goal is. Okay, our goal is to do this many push-ups, or do things that are a little unusual and different, like a one-legged squat, you know, very calisthenic wise, which is going to take a lot of strength, balance, and all those things that you need for judo. So that became one of the things, is that something that we could measure at the end, and then those kids could actually see that, you know what, there's been improvement. And again, it didn't have to be something sophisticated. You know, again, one thing, you know, for training is, what is your equipment? Jeremy said, you know, that, you know, again, do you have a chin-up bar? Well, great, but not everybody might have a chin-up bar. So it becomes now, are you making individual programs or group programs, and then how you develop them. And for a group program, like for me, you know, one of the things I did is like, okay, guys, fill up your bag with as many books as you can. And now you can, this is like a training device for squats, for one-legged squats, for everything else, right? So again, you know, finding those homemade equipment, and then, you know, building a program that is progressive, that has a goal. And then at the end, the kids actually understand why you're doing the training. It's not just doing, and it took a little while for me to, like, you know, okay, you know, find ways of making something that was going to be interesting, challenging, judo related, and again, you know, it led to something. It wasn't just people logging on and doing a bunch of exercises, which I did, which is great, which is fantastic, because doing something is fantastic. But for me, it became more, what can we improve while we're here, rather than just maintain, but actually, what can you improve?
True. And you know what? We were just before we were discussing specifically about, because my son does speed skating, and we were talking about, you know, those legs program. And on internet now, they can find many videos of specific work without any weights, without nothing, with a tennis ball, with precisely a bag full of material in it, you know. And what I remember from Jeremy's discussion is, the coach told the, you know, the club was at 17 kilometers, and instead of, you know, driving, he said, well, now you got to run towards. So maybe, you know, some parents or some coach can say, if you want to come to the club, then you're going to have to run, or you're going to have to walk. Sometimes, you know, in 2022, it's different. You know, in the 1950s, it was different. But, you know, for Jeremy, poor guy, 1956, 757, something like that, you know, complicated.
Well,
but
there's a little funny story. Is Miss Yokosawa, who's out in Vancouver, you know, Olympic silver medalist. She told me a story of, her dad was a judo coach, and her dad would sneak to school and steal her bike, and so then she'd have to run home or run to the dojo. You know, again, that is, again, you know, these are running. For me, running is one of the most important things that is involved in judo. Running is one of the things that I think Canadian judoka don't do enough, and you know, that's my opinion. And it's, again, there is lots of controversy, but I really believe that running is really an important part of judo program.
well, if they don't like running, they can do biking, and instead of
absolutely.
biking on a flat line, they can find some places that are like this with 15% inclination, and trust me, they will remember in the end that they've done biking. So, okay, so if I resume what you just said, Ewan, for me, the second word would be goals. So first word would be to have a routine, and second, in this routine of whatsoever exercises you do, to prepare some goals, small goals, whatsoever goals they would be. Yeah, just like you said, can you do your maximum push-up today? compared to yesterday or 2 days ago? You did 5. Today, can you do 5.5 or 6? Or, you know, so my 2 words, and I will put that in the chat later on, and it will be on online as well. So the recap for me is first word, routine. Second one, goals. Jérémy, vous avez essayé plein de choses. Vous avez fait beaucoup de tests, erreurs, d'outils à utiliser. Est-ce que tu en as trouvé un mieux que l'autre? Y a-t-il des choses que tu as préférées? Est-ce qu'il y en a que tu penses qui sont plus efficaces? Comment ça a fonctionné en Colombie-Britannique?
Je pense... en fait, moi, je suis une personne qui aime les défis un petit peu. Et comme Yoann disait, mettre des objectifs, c'est important. Donc, déjà, Judo Canada, on a des fitness tests qu'on peut réaliser. On a le bip test, on a le chin-up, le push-up, wall sit. On a une panoplie de tests qu'on peut réaliser. Alors, c'est sûr, quand on commence un programme à la maison, on ne va pas se tester tout de suite. On s'entraîne un petit peu et quand on voit après peut-être 2-3 semaines, OK, là, on peut se tester. On veut savoir où on en est, d'accord? Et à partir de là, c'est là qu'on peut se mettre des objectifs à atteindre. Et ce que j'ai trouvé, c'est que comme en fait, pendant la pandémie, il faut être créatif. Okay? Pour être créatif, il y a des choses, chacun va avoir à faire. Par exemple, je vais aller courir dans le parc qui est à côté de chez moi, qui va faire exactement 7 km 300. OK. Bah, ce 7 km 300, je dois savoir à combien je le fais le plus rapidement possible. OK. Maintenant, ça c'est mon benchmark. OK. Maintenant, mon objectif, c'est de le faire en dessous de tant de minutes. OK. Pour ça, il va falloir que je fasse peut-être 2 tours pour travailler mon aérobie. Et puis, peut-être, il va falloir que je fasse un peu plus de lactique. OK. Ça devient mon benchmark, ça devient mon fitness test. Et ben, on peut faire ça avec tout. Par exemple, je me souviens, pendant l'année dernière, on ne pouvait pas faire de judo, mais on pouvait faire de la préparation physique. Okay, avec un masque, on faisait de la préparation physique. On avait fait, sur le tapis, on avait fait un parcours d'obstacles avec des sauts, etc. Et puis, c'était devenu la référence. Et ben, il fallait le faire en moins de 30 secondes. En fait, j'avais acheté des petites lumières qu'on peut calculer le temps, qu'on voit sur le téléphone. Et ben là, ça devient genre, ça devient un challenge olympique. Parce que, en fait, on a le parcours à faire en temps de temps. Je pense qu'en fait, il faut que chacun construise ses propres parcours pour pouvoir se dire, OK, je fais tu disais tout à l'heure à vélo, je fais toujours le même parcours, OK, et je veux devenir meilleur à ce parcours-là. OK, c'est comme ça qu'on va progresser. Il existe des cahiers d'entraînement en ligne. OK, c'est gratuit. Tu notes tout ce que tu fais. OK. C'est-à-dire qu'en fait, après, tu reviens un mois en arrière, tu dis, le 7 km 3, je le faisais en 30 minutes. Alors maintenant, je le fais en 22 minutes. C'est c'est une bonne chose de voir où c'est qu'on en est. Donc, je pense qu'il faut se tester. Il faut avoir un cahier d'entraînement pour pouvoir traquer tous ses résultats, ses temps, et avoir ses propres objectifs. Pour moi, c'est quelque chose d'important. Si en fait on veut garder une motivation. Et puis ça va marcher pour le plus petit au plus grand, celui qui a le niveau provincial jusqu'au niveau international.
Parce qu'il l'adapte à son niveau.
Parce qu'on l'adapte à son niveau. On l'adapte à ce qu'on peut faire. Et en fait, son adversaire, c'est la personne, en fait. C'est moi-même.
C'est lui-même.
C'est ça. Donc pour moi, c'est ça qu'il faut faire. C'est avoir la routine, se tester une fois on se sent pour se tester, et puis se donner des objectifs sur ses propres benchmarks qu'on a définis.
Okay, Yoann, I'm gonna just recap in 2-3 words. and it will be your turn. And
Yep.
sometimes your things are crossing over, or they're but we have to do it in bilingual words, so
Absolutely.
it's fine if you say it as well, and if the translation is perfect. But if I recap and I try to put the words in line of to make a circle of things. The thing Jeremy was talking is, you have to test yourself before. If you want to make yourself have goals, you need
Absolutely.
as long to test yourself previously on some things to make sure that you have your benchmark, like he was saying. I noted that he said you have to be creative. Of course, you have to be creative, just like you were saying. You don't have weights. Christmas is past. You cannot ask for Santa to get you some weights. So you need to get your school bag and fill it with things in it to make it heavier, and then it's your weight. And the last thing I remember for Jamie is, all this needs to be noted somewhere. You need to keep tracking because you need to compare. So you just need a simple sheet of paper or a little book, and you take this and note, and you can, as per today, they take notes on their iPhone and they note it, and then they keep it. No, simple. Just a little book with a pen, and you take in notes. So I recap: test, creative, routine, goals, and notes. Ewan, on your part, I know you guys have been trying a lot of things in Alberta, and I'm sure all your clubs have been following some Zooms or whatsoever. What are the ones that you think were working better or more adapted, or is there, like Jeremy was saying, it depends on the personality. In your province, how did you guys work it out? And as per today, how does it work?
You know what? Like I said, it evolved. So everything evolved. The first shutdown, it looked like, okay, we'd hold some online things, and it was provincially run, and I'd be running it. And then the second lockdown, we kind of said, hey, you know what? Why don't we get more clubs involved and they do the work themselves? Because the coaches need to really work themselves and work with the athletes. And actually, we were finding out that there was more participation when we got the clubs involved. So then at that point, what I started to do was I was holding my own programs for the RTC. So again, these are the athletes I work with, and this is the programs, and this is when we meet. But what I was doing is then I would actually, as the provincial coach, go and visit those other clubs, and it would break up the monotony of like the same, so once a week I'd visit Heroes Judo Club. Once a week I'd visit Kotokwai Judo Club, Tokugawa Judo Club every 2 weeks, depending on how long they were doing it and things like this. So again, that was one of the things that we were doing is that, again, which other clubs could do or other provinces is get a guest, get somebody to bring a new idea in, and then again bring a personality in, bring something new. Again, still following some sort of program that you're doing, but again, depending on how long you're in this situation, that's the big thing. If we're here for another month, okay, this is an issue, right? If it's 3 months, okay, but again, the shorter time it's easy. It's the longer time that you really have to start to think, because again, doing 1 month of something after already what we've done isn't going to be so difficult because you can see an ending.
Yeah.
The most important thing is then if we get to 1 month, okay, how are you going to now continue, try to get that motivation? And I know Jeremy did talk about motivation, and that's one thing that we did is that we also got people like Jimmy Pedros to talk to our athletes and to get them to look for some long-term goal. Because again, you have to have that dream. The reason that you're doing you're going in your routine, you're doing these programs, you're setting your goals and everything, is that you have to have that dream goal. And that dream goal might be provincial champion, it might be national champion, Quebec Open champion, or Olympic champion. But they have to have that some sort of dream to drive them to like, hey, yeah, okay, I know I really don't want to do this because I don't want to get off my YouTube, which is a lot more fun than actually going and doing an hour of exercise, that is, dictated to me. But we have to get them to dream. And I think, which is great. We had the Olympics and we had a lot of excitement for people to see and everything like this so they can dream. And now the Judo tour is going to start. So I think if we're still stuck or a lot of provinces are still stuck in this situation, at least they can start to like see Judo. And this is going to hopefully help them with their motivation, their dream, and thinking about why I'm doing this and that, you know what, it's not always fun, but that's okay. You have to get through it.
True. Well, to all this, I resume that I added a word to the list, which I put goal, but I put goal/dream. So I think they go together because it's you have some small dream like you said and bigger dreams, and you have to fix goals to obtain these dreams. So that's why I put them a little bit together. But in the fact that you were saying, for them to watch some of the fights, of course, IGF is going to stream all the big tournaments. And so maybe we can suggest them to instead of watching 4 hours of, how's it called, Clash of Clan or whatsoever game on their application, they can watch, half hour of tournament in their own division. So they can see the world's judo players in their own division, and then spend 3 hours and a half on their YouTube favorite channel. Let's see, maybe it's gonna work. I don't know. Maybe we can convince them. Okay. So I'm gonna put myself now for the few, because we're gonna still go around for about a little bit more, 10 to 15 minutes. If I'm a parent, and I'm at home, so I'm the parent, but I don't know judo, and you're the coach, and I'm listening to you, okay, it's good. I'm gonna do him test. I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna make him wash the dishes, shovel the snow, and all this, and put a routine. How many days a week do I have to? Do they have to train? Or how many? Is that routine an everyday thing or every 2 day, or what would be the best solution depending on your level? I guess it's depending on your level. Jérémy, qu'est-ce que tu penses? Si je suis un parent, moi, puis que j'écoute l'émission, puis je me dis, OK, mon enfant, ça lui prend une routine, des objectifs, tout ça, je vais lui en faire combien de fois par semaine?
Comme j'ai dit au début, tu sais, plus tu en fais, plus tu vas aimer. Mais il faut commencer quelque part. Donc, tu prends la liste des choses à faire entre les vidéos de judo, le cardio, le renforcement musculaire, le yoga ou les shadow chikomi. Ok, mon fils, qu'est-ce qu'il préfère là-dedans? Ok, il va préférer regarder les vidéos. Ok, bon, on commence par ça. On va dire, ok, tous les jours, les mercredis, on se regarde 20 minutes de vidéos de judo ensemble. Ok, puis c'est tous les mercredis. Ok, la deuxième chose qu'il aime bien, les shadow chikomi, il aime bien. Ok, bon, on rajoute ça le lundi. On fait ça cette semaine-là. Oh, la semaine prochaine, on rajoute un entraînement. Donc, ça va être peut-être du cardio. On va les courir ensemble. Oh, ça fait combien de temps? Oh, on a fait tant de temps. Oh, etc. Et on ajoute un entraînement, plus un, pour que, en fait, déjà, ce que j'ai vu aussi, c'est que si on met tout d'un seul coup, c'est comme quand on va dans un hôtel et qu'on a le buffet à volonté. Ok. Premier jour, tu arrives, oh, c'est trop bien.
Tu manges, puis tu n'as plus faim.
Tu manges de tout. Tu fais, c'était trop bon. Puis là, le deuxième jour, le buffet, c'est le même, et tu remanges la même chose. Mais pourtant, il y a plein de choses. Alors que si, par exemple, tu arrives au buffet, et tu dis, aujourd'hui, je vais prendre le poisson. Seulement, le poisson. Puis demain, je vais prendre la viande. Puis après, plus ça va, tu dis, je rajoute, et il n'y a pas de monotonie, et on arrive à avoir une bonne motivation sur ça.
Donc des variations.
Je dirais plutôt genre on ajoute, tu vois. C'est pas je varie, c'est plutôt j'ajoute. Maintenant, quand je vois les parents, c'est les parents slash les coachs. Comme Yuan il disait, je pense qu'il y aura plus d'impact. Là, je parle plutôt aux coachs et aux parents. On aura plus d'impact avec les jeunes si on a des bons leaders dans le sport et avoir tout le monde il faut avoir des petits groupes. Il faut avoir des petits groupes et que les petits groupes développent leur propre programme. Moi, il y a quelque chose qui a très, très bien fonctionné. Donc, je disais, on n'avait pas le droit de faire du judo, mais on avait le droit de faire de la préparation physique. Okay. Donc, j'ai créé deux groupes dans mes jeunes. J'avais les 13-14 ans, okay, et j'avais les 15-17 ans. D'accord. Les 13-14 ans, 12-14 ans, j'avais l'objectif de, OK, on développe l'aérobie et on intègre l'apprentissage de la technique de la musculation. Donc, tout ce qui est développé couché, le deadlift, les squats. Et c'était seulement se concentrer sur la technique. OK? Donc, ça veut dire qu'en gros, ils ne portaient pas de poids, mais ils faisaient ça qu'avec des manches à balai, avec des petits poids de bouteilles d'eau, etc. Mais ils apprenaient la technique. Donc là, je parle vraiment à des coachs qui ont accès à un peu de matériel, d'accord? Et donc là, le jeune de 12-14 ans, il se sent valorisé parce qu'il fait les choses que les adultes y font. C'est quelque chose de nouveau et la personne elle a envie d'apprendre. Le jeune, il a envie d'apprendre. Et on met des étapes. Mais on se concentre sur l'aérobie pour le jeune, on se concentre sur la coordination et on se concentre sur la technique. C'est l'introduction à la musculation. C'est-à-dire que quand il aura 15 ans, il va pouvoir commencer avec une bonne base, la technique. D'accord? Pour les 15-17 ans, eux, ils vont pouvoir commencer à faire un peu plus à soulever des poids sur, on va dire, 50-60% de leur poids. Et ça, c'est pour essayer de construire leur corps un petit peu. Et c'est pareil. On peut aussi commencer à mettre en place des tests pour ces jeunes-là avec, on fait des tests, pas à force max, mais des tests à combien tu fais le maximum pour 10 répétitions. Puis on force pas trop, mais on essaie de voir où c'est que la personne en est. Une fois qu'on a fait 2 mois de programme, 2-3 mois de programme, donc la personne a déjà un peu plus de technique.
Un peu de technique, oui.
Voilà. Donc, ça doit être supervisé par un coach. Et puis, là, ce que Yoann il disait en essayant d'amener un invité qui va donner de la valeur ajoutée à l'entraînement. Le type d'entraînement, c'est aussi en fait des choses qu'on peut ajouter à la valeur. Le judo, faire du judo, c'est très bien, mais on sait qu'on aura besoin d'autre chose. La musculation, c'est incontournable. Le cardio, c'est incontournable. Donc, introduire ça dès qu'on est jeune, c'est important. C'est important. Je sais que je me rappelle Alex Aymon, qui est un des coachs nationaux, son entraîneur, il avait introduit la musculation dès qu'il avait 12 ans. C'est à différents niveaux, hein. C'était peut-être plutôt léger, etc. Mais à 12 ans, il commençait déjà. Moi, je pense que c'est un très, très bon exemple où, moi aussi, avec mes jeunes, je commence à 12 ans, mais bon, ils portent des manches à balai. Voilà. Donc, et ça, on peut garder une motivation un peu plus longue si on arrive à intégrer de nouvelles techniques physiques dans le programme. Des choses qui vont servir pour le judo plus tard. Donc, ils savent pas, mais déjà, ils vont arriver sur le judo, ils seront déjà prêts physiquement. Donc, j'ai fait ce programme-là peut-être de janvier jusqu'à mai, donc avec des milestones, c'est que j'ai fait des tests, etc. En août, on a fait notre premier camp d'entraînement de judo. Là, généralement, moi, je fais tous les tests physiques. Okay, donc, j'ai testé environ 150 personnes. Les personnes qui avaient commencé le programme de préparation physique ont battu tous les records qu'il y avait eu dans le passé. Et pourtant, on n'a pas vraiment forcé beaucoup. C'est juste qu'ils ont appris la technique, etc. Et ils ont battu les records sur toutes les catégories d'âge, hein, U14, U16, U18. Tous les records que j'avais vus dans le passé, en faisant un peu de préparation physique, plus du judo, etc. J'avais des bons résultats, Mais avoir fait 5 mois de préparation physique, de cardio et de musculation, ça a complètement changé en fait les résultats des jeunes. La moyenne déjà avait complètement augmenté et les meilleurs records ont été tous battus. 90% des records ont été battus. Pourtant,
donc la morale de l'histoire, c'est que si tu peux pas faire du judo, tu peux faire bien d'autres choses qui vont te servir plus tard quand tu vas pouvoir refaire du judo.
C'est ça.
Très intéressant. So, I don't know if you understood everything he said, but to my resume, the word I would say or I would add to this is progressive, to go step by step and so it helps keep the motivation. And what he was saying, to resume, is that he got his best results of athletes in shape and athletes motivation by doing this physical preparation, starting from, if my memory is good, is January or February until May. And he did his 150 tests in August. They weren't doing judo, just a little bit of shadow whatsoever, but mostly physical preparation. And he got his best result ever. So in resume, it was keep the motivation, step by step, progressive. And from there, he got best results without practicing judo necessarily. So it's, so I said to him, well, are you telling me, you don't need to do judo to be better in judo? Well, situation, I'm just resuming like this, but the topic is, what can we do if I'm a judo player? What do I do during pandemic? I sit down and I wait, or I found solution, and that was his solution. So for you, Ewan, what have you experienced and implemented and surprises that you guys tested in Alberta?
Yeah, you know what? We definitely weren't as regimented because, again, the amount of time that we were locked down a little bit differently, and then how we approached everything. But I think, again, for me is very similar in the way that Jeremy's thinking. Is the goal is there's only so much you can do, but what can you improve in the situation that you're in? So again, something physical is very good. One thing that, again, for me as a father of two judoka, one was actually, when we started, was playing more hockey than he was doing judo. So, basically the programs that he used to do were hockey related. And we had one thing. It was, this is what your program is. It's 6 days a week. You get Sunday off. It's 1 hour a day. So 6 hours a week. Because I couldn't ask you to do more, because you're now, again, we don't know how long this is going to be. But for me, if I'm going to just put a blanket out for everybody and just say, hey, what can you do? What I would say is keep your kids, keep your judoka, keep yourself activated 1 hour a day, 6 days a week. And really that'll keep you at least activated. And that and keep you healthy and keep you going in the good direction. And again, then everything else, if your club is doing something, if you're going forward with a strength training program, and it's going to differ from everybody, because one person's going to have weights, one person's not going to have anything, this person's going to have, and it's how you develop it or personalize it for your club or for your provincial organization. But I would do exactly what Jeremy was thinking, like in the saying that, what do we want to actually develop? And for me, instead of like worrying about technical elements, you can maybe use technical elements to warm up for judo, but really focus on those physical elements. And one thing with a judo player, what I would say with everybody, it's the one thing I did with my kids, is I made sure that their forearms and their hands always were activated with a lot of the exercises that they did. Because again, the one thing that we do lose in judo, and one of the most important things that we do in judo, is our hands and our strength of our hands. And if you haven't been doing or grabbing things and making sure that your forearms and your hands are staying strong, it's really going to affect you actually when you get back onto the mat. So when you are doing your exercises, like you said, add in hands or belts or something to hang on. And like I say, even a backpack, holding onto a backpack and doing your squats or your exercises or whatever else. Again, just getting those hands strong, because those are some of the things that, we don't necessarily measure all the time in judo, but if you actually understand how much time we use those hands and how strong those hands have to be, it's an exercises that, everybody should consider, especially in isolation, because it's something that, it's not normal that everybody else in the world actually has in their programs.
You know what? It's funny because, when I used to comment for Olympic Games, and I would comment and say, well, the first step in judo is to put your hands on the gi.
Yep.
So if you don't have your two hands and they're not properly on the gi, well, you can't do judo. You're gonna do whatsoever you want, whatever sport you want, but you won't be able to do judo. You need your hands to be strong. It's true. So, in that being said, I think in wintertime, shoveling snow can help and improve. So parents, shoveling snow might be the good one to try to work for with the hands. I'm sure about it. Guys, I'm gonna recap a little bit here before I ask a question to you, Ewan, because I want to end up with this one. Recap. Test yourself and make sure you can have you have some goals to set, and that they are, how do you say that, they are realistic. Be creative. Find yourself a routine. Have yourself goals, but at the same time dreams, because you need to dream of what you would like to do and do. Take some notes to prove and to keep tracking. Be progressive. Donc, une étape à la fois, but make sure that you're following things. And like Jeremy was saying, don't eat the buffet every day. Make sure, if there's a buffet, make sure one day you have something you like, the next day the buffet was still there. So don't eat everything at the same time. And I think what is very important, and you said it, Johan, it's stay activated minimally 1 hour a day. And it's true because, with the pandemic, a lot of kids stay in front of TV, play with phone, play with iPad, play with video games. So to make sure this routine of 1 hour a day of activation could be a very good solution. Alors, je récapitule, faire des tests, être créatif, avoir une routine, des objectifs avec des rêves à s'assurer qu'on peut réaliser, prendre des notes, être progressif et rester actif minimalement. En tout cas, des recommandations, c'est au moins 1 heure par jour, là, puis être actif, mais ça peut être avec différents sports, avec différentes activités. Et comme disait Jérémy, c'est pas nécessaire que ça soit des choses compliquées, et ça peut être une chose qui évolue à la fois à chaque semaine. Donc, vous n'êtes pas obligé de tout faire du premier coup, puis qu'après ça, la semaine d'après, on ne fait plus rien. Donc, rajouter, et plus vous allez en faire, plus vous allez avoir envie d'en faire. Avant d'aller pour le mot de la fin, Jérémy, moi, je pense que ce serait important que Ewan nous dise, il est en pleine pandémie, il a fait des exercices aujourd'hui. Qu'est-ce qu'il a fait aujourd'hui? Hein? Alors, on va lui demander. Coach Beaton, I was saying to Jeremy, before we go to the end of the show, we have a guy that is sick, that needs to stay at home, that is at home. And he said he did some exercise. So what did you do today to keep yourself activated?
Oh, that's I used some judo elastics. I used the backpack that's a little bit heavy, and I did some small exercises. Like I said, it's day. Tomorrow I'll probably, if I'm still healthier, then I'll push myself a little harder. But nothing too hard, but it is just, again, get a little, feel alive, like it's, especially in isolation. There's one thing about, like isolation means that you're not seeing your family, you're not seeing, so right now, you know what, if I don't do something, I'm going to go crazy. So, there's only so much work you can do, and then so much Netflix you can watch. So you might as well, do a little bit physical. Well, that's who I am.
Well, you know what? I think you're right because, if we stay too long in front of the TV and then we try to wake up after, if we don't do stretching, Jeremy, then we're like, and we know we're old. So at the same time, it's normal. But I think, stretching is easy when you're watching TV. You can do that. So, Jérémy, il faut pratiquer un peu les étirements, même si on n'aime pas. Hein, c'est important. Gentlemen, I don't know if you had something to add, if you wanted to say something and you wanted to there we go. I got my dog barking at someone. Jérémy, est-ce que tu avais quelque chose à ajouter? Est-ce que tu voulais nous ajouter quelque chose?
Non, oui, peut-être. En fait, je pense que c'est important de rester actif pour être prêt pour redémarrer, parce que je pense que ça va redémarrer bientôt. Au niveau national, on prévoit des tournois dans l'Ouest canadien. Donc, Edmonton a été confirmé au mois d'avril, le 22 avril.
Oui.
Le Pacifique International va être confirmé d'ici les prochains jours. On espère
que vous soyez collés puis que ça y ait un circuit. Super, la bonne nouvelle.
Donc, on va avoir des choses. Donc, il faut rester dans les starting blocks pour dès qu'en fait le gouvernement va dire Hajime, on va commencer à poser les mains sur le kimono.
Ewan, did you hear what he said? I'm sure you can do it in English. He said,
Yep.
Tournament, stay at your starting block because Judo Canada and the Judo tournaments will start again, and you can confirm that the Edmonton International will be happening in April or something.
Yes, so Jeremy is saying that the Edmonton International is confirmed. They moved recently, and Jeremy's saying that again, putting Pacific International the week before. And so, that's the most important thing, is that it looks like from everything that, we should be hopefully through this by March, and everybody needs to understand that, it's going to come fast after that. You should have provincial tournaments. You should have then the Western tournaments, the national championships, summer tournaments. So again, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not like the other times. So, like you said, just everybody stay positive. I know it's hard to stay positive, but stay positive. And you know what? And we're all there, and we're in this together. Like, even if we're practicing actually doing judo in Alberta or in BC, but we know our neighbors in Saskatchewan isn't, and same in Manitoba. But again, we're all here together, and we need each other. So you guys need to keep training, because the only way that we're going to get through this is actually by us competing together and getting better. So, please just keep at it.
Well, I totally agree. And to confirm, we will, as soon as everything will be confirmed, because we know we have the information that BC will be pushed back also in April. But,
maybe we don't know yet.
Eh?
No,
it's not confirmed yet.
We hope. We're smelling it, or something is telling us, and we're wishing, please make sure. So yes, and to confirm, you in Quebec, we think it's going to be the same thing, that judo sport can be back on track in few weeks, and we're crossing our fingers for all of you guys. So yes, and for us, the goal for the Open National in May is still a go, and everything is planned as scheduled. So this is why I wanted to have a little bit of this chat with Pat, to make sure that the message is clear. Like Jeremy said, stay in the starting block, stay in shape, make sure you're ready, because when everything will start again, you will need to be ready. Alors, comme le disait Jérémy, restez prêt et assurez-vous d'être d'être en pleine forme parce que lorsque les tournois vont reprendre, le championnat canadien en mai va avoir lieu à Montréal. Donc, c'est très important que vous soyez prêts. Gentlemen, I don't know if you had something else to add.
No,
Jeremy, Ewan, gentlemen, thank you very much for your precious time. It was very, very much appreciated. Très, très gentil. Merci beaucoup pour votre temps. And I hope that, so I'm going to put enter in the chat. I don't know if it went through. I guess so, maybe. So the recap is in. There we go. And I hope to see you guys soon in some tournaments close to spring. And I wish you all the best with all your athletes. Keep on doing the super job you guys are doing. And if you need anything, if you have some new ideas or new project, tell us, send us a note so we can promote it. Alors, si vous avez des bonnes idées, des choses, envoyez-nous-les, Jérémy. Hein? C'est important qu'on puisse faire la promotion.
Ok, pas de souci.
Messieurs, gentlemen, Happy New Year. See you soon, and thank you very much. Everybody, it was the Chat with Pat 2022, the first one of the season. Have a good time. Talk later. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Et faites vos stretching.